The life force itself is very sublime in nature. Usually, whatever we go through in life, it actually could be transmuted through the power of breath. Through the power of breath, what we breathe in, if we breathe in more attentively, we can bring ourselves to some level of alignment where we would behave in a most harmonious way, which is more aligned with the highest purpose, our highest purpose. So prana is something which can construct the right mechanism for you. It could construct the right mechanism in a way that is conducive to your highest growth, to the highest poise, where you are most attuned to achieve what the great design is for you. That's how powerful the prana is, what you breathe in. So usually we take it for granted, and in the yogic law, the prana was used to ascend our higher vibration through the release of the emotional baggage. The emotional baggage that we carry at times is overburdened with intensity, the intensity of the waves. The waves are turbulent, the waves are overwhelming, it's like threatening to life itself. That we release as we exhale and transmute with the higher, replacing it with the higher vibration as we inhale in form of what we call oxygen. The oxygen is what the life is. And recently we have come to know how precious each breath is, how precious the prana is. Post the COVID-19 and the fiasco it created across the globe, and also in India, you saw what happened. People in their swanky cars, in their big giant machines they drove around, died with the oxygen cylinder. They could not survive. They could not buy a breath. The lungs got totally defunct because of not having enough oxygen. So the very passage of life, the passage of life which has got experiences, the pathway. So the very walk of life has this very meandering waves of emotions which only prana could subside. If we breathe at some level of frequency, some level of accuracy, we could actually subside around 30% of our emotional baggage. Have we ever wondered, whenever you happen to speak in a language that is not appropriate, happen because you are not in control of your own self? When I say when you are not in control of yourself, it is equivalent, my dear friends, to tell you that your prana was not with you. You were not a conscious breather when you said those words which were not appropriate, which were not aligned to your highest purpose. Now think about the last time you spoke something which was not aligned with your highest character, which was not aligned with your highest purpose. Think about those times. Were you in control of yourself? Yes or no? Probably you are not. And yes, you are 100% not. It happened because your prana was disintegrated disintegrated into the thoughts. So prana has got one ally called thoughts. Thoughts shall not convert into words unless it is something to be spoken, worth speaking, my dear friends, worth speaking, worth uttering, my dear friends. The words are so powerful. The words are powerful because it has a very subtle way of taking it back to its root, and the thought that convert into words comes from the prana. This connection we never thought of. Now it is being unraveled to you right away. You can turn the ways of your functioning just by conscious breathing. How conscious you are at this point in time decides your future. You are bombarded with ideas because you are dictated by the past events, which could be memorized version of yourself, memorized version of yourself. I would not say you were that person, because you are not what you have identified with. You are not that you think you are, because who you are, as you call yourself, who you are at this point in time, has come from a baggage of memorized version of yourself. That is not who you are. So if I were to ask you, bring your focus to your breath right now, because this is the key to success. You will tell me, have you lost your mind? Not possible. Absolutely not possible. I mean, we will be spending rest of the life just keeping our focus on the breath. It is happening. We don't have to make a great deal about it. Of course, we shall not make a great deal about it. But unfortunately, with the time that we have, under the pressure of time, when I say time, it means that time is turbulent. Why time is turbulent? Because it has got emotional upheaval that goes on within you. The time with your emotional attachment is very, very upheaval. It's very turbulent. Time itself as it is time. Time itself as it is time. But with our emotional input into it, it has become dramatic, my dear friends. And we say time is not good. Time has got nothing to do with your mood. Time is time, as it is independent of itself, is time only. But we have made time with the input of our emotional drama. If we cannot take control of our psychological drama, then physiological diseases are apparent. The physiological disturbances are imminent. They are bound to take place in your body. They will just manifest in your body in some form or the other. Some pain or disease will just occur in the system because of the psychological traits which we do not have control over. So all the while we have been wondering of choosing different paths to kind of calm ourselves, to come at an equilibrium point where we are poised enough, we are ready enough to lead our life more holistically. But that holistic way of life cannot occur at one point in time with the midst of all the confusion that we go through in life. It can only occur with the alignment of the inner mechanism. Inner mechanism, if it is to be evaded, then life force itself has to be evaded too. The inner mechanism of who you are is the most significant, and all that we go through can actually be transferred into the notion of the identification with which we are overburdened at this point in time, which is nothing but only a very memorized way of functioning. Something happens, at the spur of the moment, we start behaving in that way. We find ourselves at the mercy end of each and everything. I would like to ask you, if each moment of your life, each wind of your life is capable of turning your life around, then where will you find yourself? If a wind comes from the east, you turn east. If the wind strikes you from the south, you turn south. That's not the way you can function for the rest of your life. Because the situation and happenings around you will have its own way of functioning. That will keep happening. You would not have control over them. So these happening and circumstances lead us to an awkward situation. An awkward situation where things are absurd. We find ourselves in an awkward situation. Why? Because things around us are absurd. My dear friends, the absurdity of the mind is much more stronger than the outer reality which manifests because of what goes within each one of us. This is the truth. The absurdity of mind is nothing but the manifestation of the inner mechanism that we cannot control of, which gets manifested in a different forms and circumstances outside, which actually is the orientation of with which we have projected ourselves to the world. The way we have projected ourselves to the world comes back to us in exactly the same form. No one can deny this. Can you? Can any one of us? Absolutely no. Few people could be blessed with something. Of course, because this is a life, and this bag that we have received, which has got all the repository of many life's memories, cannot be just washed away in this life. We are the evolution of many, many lifetimes, since the body has got the evolutionary mechanism inbuilt in it. Without any scientific research or having proved that, oh, it is not, or yes, it is, it does not require the approval of any science. One does not have to be a scientist to know it. This body itself has got cells, and cells have got this inbuilt memory within, because of which we orient ourselves in a specific way, the way we are. That's fine. But all that can be altered at this point in time as these words are being uttered and as you listen to these words. Why? Because this moment is a source of all evolution. This moment is a source of all evolution that is happening in the world. Tell me what is not happening in the world. Is sun not doing its job? Whatever you see things around you, everything is happening without your participation, my participation, or anyone's participation. Everything is happening at this point in time. Everything is just in motion. But how much of life can you experience is your choice, is your evolution. So whatever there is that you want to know can only happen only in the expansion of yourself. The more contracted you are, the little life you will lead. As you expand, you know how little you know. As you expand yourself, you will know how little you know. As you expand yourself more and more, you will know how little you know about everything around you. This is the magical. This body is, in fact, divine. It is a temple in itself. And it has all the repository of greatness which can repose you in faith of itself. It is so divine. This body can become an institution of faith, my dear friends. But only thing that lacks is your faith. If you trust in it, you will see that whatever comes to you comes with an energy, and how you want to transmute it, how you want to catapult that experience into something that you would like to, is your choice. So the key remains your breath. How subtle your breath is decides everything about you. 30% of your life or life problems can be mitigated, subdued by the power of your breath. That's how powerful your breath is. So we'll talk more about breath in coming time. But all that can be said is this: breath moves your body. The way you do this has got to do with the circulation of your breath. You'll exactly know how much of clasp is required, like this. If your breath could be your teacher, your body will function in the most sublime manner. If your breath could navigate your body will rid of many diseases. If your breath could be regulated at certain level of divine frequency, your body becomes divine. Your body becomes receptive to all grace there is. Breath is a way to that accessibility of grace. So that's very important. So how accessible it is to make yourself present to the grace there is at this point in time, the grace that is being befallen on each species, except one being. As you know, except one being, and that being is us. Because we don't have that access to it. We have locked it by our dispositions. Our tendencies have actually locked the access to the grace. But it can be unlocked through the power of breath. So as you become more subtle, your body disposition tendencies subside. Your tendencies must subside. That's the only way. That's the only way forward. There is no any other way. But the tendencies of the past or many lifetimes have to leave the body, have to leave the mind, have to leave the spirit. It has to go away from us. A lot could be visible, a lot could be seen, made available to be seen through the power of your breath. It has its way of teaching you how much to speak, what to speak, when to speak. This body could become a greater dimension of life with the power of the breath. It can take you to the peak where the body becomes a temple in itself, where the body becomes a divine dimension itself. When that becomes, you are the glory being a human. You are glory to the one who created you. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santo niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dugabhag bhaved. Om sanno devi ravishtaya abo bhavantu pedaye, shanyo ravisravantu naha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om. सब तत्वों का ज्ञान है परमा पुरुष वे जान, सहज योग अभ्यास है डोर विहंग मजान। ब्रह्म विद्या चिन्हगी उड़ी लगी कर्म घर याग, कर्म वासना जर गई चेतन चेतन जाग। जय सद्गुरुदेव, सद्गुरुदेव की जय। श्री सद्गुरु चरण कमलेभ्यो नमः। श्री सद्गुरु सदाफल चरण कमलेभ्यो नमः।